Hello, I'm Sunflower, and welcome back to my channel, Sunflower Learns to Sew, and today I have a haul and a yarn review. A yarn haul and review. So on February 14th, aka Valentine's Day, I decided to place an order for some yarn, and I could only buy them in quantities of 9, 12, or 15. So we have with us 9 Lion Brand Feels Like Bliss yarn. I've never tried this yarn, I've never purchased it before. It's been out for a while and I've really wanted to use it, so I have 9 colors to go through. Never seen these colors before. I think there are 15 colors in total. So I'm gonna look at the colors for the first time, feel them for the first time, and then I'll do a review and tell you how much I like them or if I don't like them. So let's get into the colors. I have a little bag in front of me. This is Feels Like Bliss. This is in the color, trying to find the color name, Buttercup. I will do a little pan down camera after change the camera angle so you guys can see it better. This one is Lavender, and they are machine washable, flat to dry. They're bulky 5. They are 100% nylon, in case you were curious. This color is Sterling. I'm guessing like sterling silver. Cocoa. I thought it was supposed to be more like a brown, but it looks like more like a similar to like a purple red than it does like cocoa, but nonetheless. Then we have this color, which is Slate. Then we have Peach, which I definitely think this looks like peach. Peach or like an apricot. We have, of course, White. We have Sky, which is like a bluish kind of purple. I would say like a periwinkle. Don't know if I'm using that right, but that's what that color is. And then for our pink color, we have Dusty Rose. Like I said, there's a lot of colors of yarn, so let's get a closer look. I know that my lights might be washing the colors out a little bit, but this is the Dusty Rose. Oops. This is Buttercup. We have White. And it says over 8,000 free patterns. Scan for more, 100% nylon. 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. 100 meters, 109 yards. A bulky 5. 8mm knitting needles or 9mm crochet hook. And like I said, machine washable. So this is the cocoa. I don't know if it's really that brown. I thought it would be cocoa, be more brown. Oops, that's what it looks like. Then we have peach. This is peach. Such an interesting texture. I wonder what it feels like crocheted up versus just in the skein, because yarns can feel very soft in the skein, and then you work it up and it's not as soft. That also does have to deal with hook. If you use too small of a hook, it can feel more rough. This is the Slate. This is the one I was like, I think it appears more purple. In person, it's like clearly blue, but there's like a tinge. This is Sky. Did you have a darker blue? So I might have to check that out in the future. This is what it looks like. This is like sterling silver. Very nice gray. Had a little styrofoam from its packing. Oops. And then this color was the Lavender, which is more of a pink purple compared to more lavenders, which I feel is like a blue purple. this hue, I wouldn't really call it lavender. This, I don't know if you can tell, the camera might not be able to pick it up as well, but because of the lights. But these are not the same purple, and this is like more of a lavender purple. They are not the same purple. It's just that I would mention that. So let's look, because Dusty Rose does not feel like staying in her little yarn tag. This is what it looks like up close. I just want to compare it to this yarn, which is not Premier Chenille, but it's a very similar yarn to Premier Chenille. This yarn, I don't think it says its weight on it, if I'm not mistaken. No, it doesn't. But I just want to compare like yarn thickness to it. This just seemed thinner. What size hooks do most people use? I'm just comparing it. Interesting. You can compare it to an acrylic threads, acrylic yarn, compared to this. They might, loops and thread might be even a little bit thicker than this. It says 05 bulky, right? Yeah, it does. But then loops and thread is a size medium 4. I don't know if I would consider this a size 5. Consider this a size 5 bulky, just by how thin. Try to get on the back of my hand too. How thin the little tube or the center of it is. I feel like you can clearly tell that this is thinner than this. So yeah, I wonder if I use a 4mm hook or even smaller would be necessary for this type of yarn. So after doing some research, after Googling some, people do use a 4mm crochet hook with this, which is perfect because I just got a froze crochet hook in 4mm. It's supposed to be like a hollow core, and it's spun, machine spun that way. So I was correct on like the way it is. So I'm going to get my 4mm hook, and then I'm gonna try some crochets because I have a lot of patterns that I've wanted to crochet that I put on the back burner because these 9 skeins of yarn were coming, and I felt like they would be perfect. I am still sad about cocoa or cocoa because I thought it would be more brown. I do have so many ideas to make with these, so so excited. Okay, and here I am starting the magic circle with this yarn. This is actually the second time I had to do the magic circle because the first time I did it, it just failed. The yarn was very hard to work with. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but I am struggling to get the whole strand of yarn. My hook keeps just stabbing into the tube. This yarn is very similar to like shoelaces. They're like the tube shoelace, not the flat type. And it's very tube-like, and you can see like I'm pointing to it. I keep just grabbing a little part of it. So here I'm now trying the color switching for the pattern. I'm doing a free possum pattern crochet. And this pattern is by Keeping Creatures on Instagram. It's a free possum crochet, and they used Feels Like Bliss yarn. And as you can just see, I was showing that my hook is just stabbing constantly in the middle. It's not grabbing the whole yarn, and it just keeps on getting stuck. And I have to keep pulling it up and frogging a little bit to just get the whole yarn. Again, it just happened. So it's very difficult to grab the whole strand. I finished my little possum, and here he is up close. But I not only finished this possum, I also finished this little bee. This is a free pattern by Crochet Grove on her Instagram, and it inspired me to buy this green yarn to make the rainbow variation that she has on her Instagram. Now I want to talk about the textures of these because they do feel soft, but they feel rough at the same time. They feel soft when you're touching with certain parts like the wings and the ears. You can definitely feel like the stitches and the way they are crocheted. Because I crochet and I knit, I can like tell the difference between like knit stitches and crochet stitches, and you can see the difference, but there's also a difference in texture, just the way crochet stitches are bulkier than knit stitches. And when I went in person, because I bought all these yarns online for pickup, when I went in person to check out the swatch of the yarn, it was done in knitting, and it was so much softer. It was so soft, it was so smooth. It made me realize that this yarn feels impeccable, absolutely amazing in knitting. So if you are a crocheter who knits as well, try it out for knitting. It feels so soft and so nice, and it doesn't have like a stiff kind of texture, because this is a little more stiff because the stitches are so tight to not, for amigurumi you have to go down hook size and all that. But they still are soft, and they still are cute. They're just not as soft as when it comes to like a fur yarn. So here are how they look. They look adorable though. Very much do like them. Like I said, I ended up buying a 10th skein to do the rainbow variation. So, another point, I was using a defective hook. I didn't realize at the time that my 4mm furls crochet hook was defective. I have a video going over that and kind of the whole process. So I want to give this yarn another try to see if it's better, because I was having problems with other yarns that were similar in the way they were kind of woven together, and they kept getting caught like in this yarn. So I'm curious if this is a yarn issue, if it was a hook issue. So I'm going to be doing a little snorkel. I'm going to be crocheting a snorkelax in purple. I do have a light blue, this kind of blue, so I could do in this color, but I thought for fun to do it in purple, and hopefully my white that I have is enough, because I have used it for the bee and the possum. So hopefully it is enough to do the snorkelax, because they are 109 yards for 100 grams. So they do not come the most yarn, but hopefully they are enough. Okay, and now I am crocheting the snorkelax. I'm making the magic ring, the magic circle. And as you can see, I'm very concentrated, very in focus, trying to keep sure I get the yarn to work. But unfortunately, I was still having struggles. I was still not getting the full yarn. I was still only stabbing through the tube. It was not gliding as smoothly as I wanted. I had to keep taking off my hook from the yarn to grab the stitch. So I was still struggling, and unfortunately it was not the defective hook, but the yarn itself. As you can see, yeah, I can't get the whole strand. I can only get the center or middle of it. Okay, while I was working with the yarn, it decided to tangle on itself. It just completely started tangling by itself, but luckily this only happened once, but I was not impressed at all.
Hello everybody, I finished our snorkelax, and I wanted to go over my final thoughts and opinions on snorkelax. My final thoughts and opinions on the Feels Like Bliss yarn by Lion Brand. Now, when I was working on him, there was some issues I was encountering. Like you saw in the previous clip, I could not grab the whole stitch. I thought it was because of my hook, but as I got my new hook, it was still doing the same thing. It's very hard to grab all the stitches, like go through the stitches completely and not like get the whole strand of yarn. So I think that would be my number one con, is it's not as easy, and that causes your hand to cramp because you're trying really hard to get the right tension, because if you're not grabbing the full stitch, the tension's not right. Another con is you have to count every single increase. I know that some people count their stitches and some people just use a stitch marker and then they go by that and they just crochet all around. A lot of times you're going to have to count, which means this is going to take longer, especially if you can't see some of your stitches. If you're someone who's crocheted for a while, you can kind of know where to put your stitches and you don't actually need to see your stitches. So this, another con of this, it's not a beginner yarn. If you're a beginner, this yarn is not for you. This is for someone who's practiced a lot of times and who knows how to work with kind of fun texture yarn like this and fur. The con of it is when it's crocheted, it's not as soft as when it's knit. It definitely is still soft and it has a nice texture, and I think that is a pro, that it has a nice texture and it looks cute, but when it's knitted, it's a lot better. And compared to fur yarn, I think I prefer fur yarn over this, but I do think it still makes a very cute little plush, and you can see it's very nice and soft. Now, another con, this might not be a con depending on if this matters or not to you, but the price per yard that you get in this. These are 109 yards, 100 grams for where I live, $9.99, so $10, and then of course taxes. So I haven't weighed the yarns yet that I've used. This is the yarns I have left from making this, but I'm pretty sure I've used almost a skein, if not a skein, to make this Snorkelax. So this Snorkelax costs $10 per tax, $10 plus tax to make. So that's just also something to keep in mind. This will take you double the time. If you have difficulty seeing your stitches, you're going to have to count a lot, and you still might have some issues. Like the body, the arms, and the legs I was able to do fine. The ears, always the stitch count was off. I frogged them, both ears from the beginning. Could never, ever get the stitch count to be right. Was either over stitches or under, no matter what I did. So there was a little bit of difficulty with that. I only have 15 colors. When it comes to colors, there's not a lot of colors. So that's another con. You're very limited on the plush you're able to make, depending on colors. If you want something that has a lot of different shades, like just comparing it. I know that Sweet Snuggle Lights has been having issues and they're not available at store. But Sweet Snuggle Lights have like 4 different shades of pink, 4 different shades of purple. So when it comes to this, there's only 2 shades of purple. So depending if you are a person who likes to use a lot of colors, these are very limited when it comes to colors. The pros. It's soft, not the softest, but soft, and it looks adorable. I like that you can use a small hook like a 4mm or a 3.75 and get a very small little plush. Those are my thoughts and opinions on Lions Brand's Feels Like Bliss yarn. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.